Let's kick things off with a few experiments. I have some different glass tunnels in front of me, which are all made of glass, but some of the blocks are created using the architect's cutter, and the experiments we'll be conducting will be to see how well water flows through each of them. So a simple one to start with then, how well does water flow down them? I'm not expecting any difficulty at all from the solid block. Now for the glass fences, which, yep, that clearly did not work out at all there. Maybe I need a solid block on top of it. Let me try something else. Okay, we will try that again then, but with water flowing down from a solid block on top. Yep, that one really just does not work. So, now onto the glass panels, which are a real pain in the ass to actually place in, but I'm expecting water to flow down it properly if I did put it in the right place. Okay, that's promising, and already looks miles better than the solid block, I must admit. Right, the final flow down experiment then with some glass walls. This is going to be very similar to the fences. I again will try a solid block on top, but I am expecting no real differences from the fences, and indeed, yes, that's pretty much the same. On to experiment 2 then. How well does water flow through them? Again, expecting no real difficulty with the solid blocks here. As for the fences, again, I'm not really that optimistic about it. Yep. Even if I shift click on top of it, I just don't think it's going to work. Okay, so fences and most likely the walls are definitely out. The glass panels are next, and as long as I place water inside of them, that seems to be the main issue here. Yes, water is flowing down them pretty nicely, so panels are definitely a winner here in my opinion. Just trying to get the water actually into them to begin with, that is the real difficulty here with them. But we can work on that. Let's try the walls then, which I'm just not expecting a damn thing from. Nope. We move on to experiment 3, which is to see how well that water will flow up through them. The solid block is tried and tested, and I really am not expecting too much difficulty from it, and indeed we don't seem to have any here. As long as we see the bubbles rising up through it, then that elevator is going to work there. Right, let's try the panel next, which from the outside does look as if the water is already flowing downwards still, is actually moving. Let's see about getting some kelp into it and then breaking it. How does that work? Really difficult to tell because of the way the water is looking there. I think we do have some bubbles. Yes, there's some bubbles on the top of it, so I think that is also working here. We'll conduct the same experiment again, but this time with some test subjects. So we'll open the trapdoor and we'll put in an axolotl, which does immediately get fired up within the solid block. And we will try it with the glass panel then, although I get the feeling this might miss the inside of it. Oh no, we got it in there first try. Yeah, that also works out not too badly. Well, I think those experiments were pretty conclusive. The panels I prefer more than the solid blocks, but either or of them will work. And I think you might now be getting the picture as to where I'm going with all of this. Yes, today we are going to make a water park for our axolotls. I have a few stupid ideas in mind of what I would like to build around the industry district for the axolotls, but to begin with, I'm just going to release these little chaps here into this aquarium that we have. This is a Space Wars aquarium, which isn't quite finished yet. I kind of got bored and I've only done a little bit of it. But so far, it's looking not too bad down here. We will just need to populate it with some more coral and other ocean-related items. Just similar to what we've already done with our Lost City aquarium. Anyway, to start things off, I want to make a giant water flume going from this aquarium over to the other one. So if I carefully remove the roof of the Space Wars aquarium, we will get some of those glass panels right down into the water and then across over to the Lost City one, which is a hell of a lot simpler to say than actually do, but let's give it a go. The main problem that we're going to have is just by simply placing down these glass panels, because I can't have them sitting on the edge like that. I kind of need them to sit just a little bit further in this direction here, and these things take forever to actually mine up if I do place them in wrong. But eventually we will get them to sit where we need them to sit, just after placing down some other blocks and then extending overwards. You can see how long this process is going to take here. This is technically the simple part. But as long as we've got one block down, then the rest of them should follow not too badly. Well, that's the first set now placed down correctly. We still have quite a way to go down to the bottom, and then also horizontally. But as long as I can get these next layer set up right, then this should go a little bit more smoothly. So far, not so great though. Long story short, that's the glass pillar all the way down into the water at least. Man, that took forever. But let's see about getting some water then into this. So yep, we're going to do that a few times, but eventually we will get it inside of the panels. That's looking pretty solid, and hopefully it is all the way down to the bottom, which it does seem to be. So now we need to get a bubble elevator all the way up to the top with it. Let's go get some soul sand. I don't know how far up a bubble elevator can go. Ideally I would like it to go from the very bottom all the way up to the top, of which I think this is practically underneath of it. Let's try then. I will just remove the sand here, then we will get the soul sand on top of it, followed by the kelp eventually. Yep, I might need to go get quite a lot more kelp for this. I don't think we're really going to touch the surface with it. That's the kelp now right up to the very top of this, so let's go right down to the very bottom and break all of it. Man, I really wonder how long these pieces of kelp are. They certainly go on for quite some time. Anyway, let's get down and then let's break them. Hopefully that's alright. That looks pretty grand actually. And will this take us all the way up to the top? So much bloody kelp everywhere. Yep, indeed it does. Excellent. So now we will need a lot more of these glass panels. I'll go a little bit higher with it, but we're mainly going horizontal with it, just over to somewhere around the crosshair there. Right, straight back to it then, making an absolute bloody mess as we go. This is really starting to look quite odd, but that is the tunnel now right over into the second aquarium. Let's get some water up into it then. I've made the entire top of it out of trapdoors just for easy access down into this. So we will need to get some more water up to this point here. Yep. And I don't know if the bubbles are actually coming up to the top or if they are still a little bit further down. If it comes to it, we will just kelp again. Oh, hello you. Well, that may have answered my question. I think they are just a little bit further down. Well, that's alright. We will get some more kelp up into this and get the bubble elevator going a little bit higher. Let's now start getting the water flowing more horizontal then. Which, yep, we are going to make a mess to begin with, but eventually it should flow downwards. Oh, don't tell me I've put these in wrong. That is exactly what I have done here. They should just be one lower. Excellent. That's the problem solved, and we now have water flowing all the way down to the other aquarium. I haven't actually checked to see if this does work yet, but I do have some objects to test. Okay, little oak sign, on you go, and as long as it doesn't go out of bounds, I will send another one, and it at least does seem to be heading all the way down. I will quickly follow suit just to make sure that it is then going to flow down right to the bottom, which I think it may have, but I can't actually see it. Oh no, I can, it's here. Okay, excellent. So that will take us from one quarry right over into the second one, or quararium, I should say. Let's do a first proper test then with an axolotl. This one here, which I'm just going to quickly put there and give it a name, just so that we know which axolotl is which whenever it does go down into the second quararium. Right, little plum, on you go, and you are supposed to go into that and up. Of course, Plum forever doing her own thing. But she is eventually then into the bubble elevator, and I will follow suit just as we go up here, and hopefully she will get stuck. Yes, I did forget about fixing that little part there, but we will eventually get to it. Plum, could you come a little bit further up here? I have a water flume for you to test out. Nope, instead she has managed to clip out of that. Oh, they're not clipping out, it's because I had to remove that. Okay, you go back down into that. I will need to sort this out here and the bubble elevator inside of it. Teething issues with all of this, just some teething issues. Well, one final redesign later, and I think that's their water slide now up and ready. I have done another test with Plum, who is now somewhere down within the Lost City Aquarium. So the slide works-ish, but good enough for me. Now though, we'll move on to tackle another little design for the aquariums, and that is how to get them back into the Space Wars one. Which actually is going to be relatively simple, because all we're going to need to do is make a tunnel from that one over into this one. And we will use our very handy shape tool in order to make that tunnel, which will look something very similar to this, but obviously then just extend from one aquarium to the other. I may augment the shape of this tunnel here to kind of fit the Space Wars honeycomb shape within the wall. Yeah, just extend that out a little bit. I think that tunnel could look not too bad from this end here, and it will come out roughly here within the Lost City Aquarium, which again I think might just work here. Okay, let's get the shape then sorted here and get that turned into an air block so they dig it out. We will start it from here, and let's change that over to air then, and yep, before I run out of air, let's get Ellison to do that for us. I have no idea what Ellison is currently working on, nor do I really care to be honest with you, but she will move on to make that tunnel for us next. Well, that is Ellison immediately out here to dig away at that for us, and I'm not noticing any disturbance here on the top, which is good. So I am going to assume that I have set this decoration right, which I think I have. Or maybe not actually, I did not make this hollow. But she has mined a little bit further in, so that kind of gives me a template to work with here. Maybe I would just be better fixing this. So far so good, I would say. We've even managed to mine out into a cave system, which I do recall from building the Lost City one actually. And in fact, that's us now inside of the Lost City Aquarium. I think I will maybe tidy this up by placing in either stone bricks or quartz if I have any, just to better decorate things a little bit. It is very stony in here, whereas the rest of the aquariums are nice and vibrant, so yes, I think we'll get our ideas making up some of those for us. Well, that's the tunnel now dug through all the way to either side, so our axolotls, once we get this flooded, should be able to access both aquariums, as well as the water slide just in the centre of it, which sadly is not fit for player use, I think, unless we do this. Oh no, that's a lot better, and down we go then. Okay, well that is interesting. Our idiots have made me up some stone bricks alongside sea lanterns, so let's get this place fixed up a little bit, which we are really not doing anything too fancy with it, just stripping away the base materials and replacing it with stone bricks. That is looking so much better in here now. That's actually worked out really not too bad. Well, I'm all out of time for this episode, but I've still got some more designs to try out for our Axolotls water park, so we'll pick this up and continue next time.